The United stand. How are we all doing? Ole Gunnar Solskjaer facing his final test as we approach a massive game on Sunday. I'm sorry, Chelsea fans, we beat you last night and we're not even bantering you anymore. We've got more important things to do. We've got a game against Liverpool at the weekend, which I think will define whether Solskjaer will be Manchester United manager or not, which we'll speak about in a moment. But more importantly, this is a massive game, isn't it? We will be building towards it during the week, but it's amazing actually that John Lennon, who is a Scouser, actually predicted what would happen if Liverpool won the league. Imagine there's no heaven, because that's what it's going to be like for United fans if they win the league. So we've got to do this job on Sunday, and we'll also be talking about Pogba, Herrera, Sarri, Lukaku, our best 11. The referee for that game doing it the hard way, that's what she said. But let's get into it straight away and say that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Manchester United manager, the final test. Well, you know what? There is something very poetic and symbolic about football, I believe. And when we last played Liverpool, we got embarrassed at Anfield, didn't we? Let's be honest, we did. We got embarrassed. And that was the tipping point for Mourinho to be sacked, and it went from a nightmare to a great Christmas as he was sacked a couple of days after the Liverpool embarrassment. And how fitting is it that actually, I think if Manchester United were to beat Liverpool on Sunday, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has basically got the job. It is his final test. You look at the run of games that he's had. I think we've had 13 games. He's lost to PSG. He's won 11. He's drawn 1. An amazing set of results. And if he was to beat Liverpool on Sunday, that's it then. There's no more of this, Chelsea's manager's crap, Spurs were unlucky, Arsenal are bottlers, it was only Cardiff. You know, it would actually be the icing on the very top of the cake. And also, let's not forget, this could be, I think if Liverpool to win on Sunday, they'd probably go on to win the title, so no more incentive needed than that. But look, it's not lost on a lot of people that I want Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to be Manchester United manager. But I am going to say this now. A lot of people are saying, when will it happen? Will it happen? I think it's going to happen. But I just want to say that I think if he beats Liverpool on Sunday, just give him the contract on the pitch. Ed Wood would run out with a fountain pen, one of them feathers if he wants, and a bit of ink and a big piece of paper. And let's get some ABBA playing in the background, and Ollie can sing it, and we can all sing around and dance, and it'd be great. It'd be absolutely brilliant. I don't care how they do it. But if he beats them on Sunday, just give him the job. You got to give him the job if he beats Liverpool on Sunday. That is it. I don't think, even I am going to break my, why give him the job now? Wait till May. Let's be patient. Screw that. If he beats Liverpool on Sunday, I think he's done enough. He's jumped through more hoops than a bloody collie at Crufts, and he deserves the job. Absolutely. So if he beats Liverpool on Sunday, he gets the job for me. That is it. Absolutely it. And it's as simple as that. It's as simple as that when it comes to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because there's not much more he can do. I mean, there's not much more he can do. I want to talk a little bit last night. I always want to just bring in the Liverpool thing, because this is the United stand. We don't take ourselves too seriously. We like to build things up. We like a bit of banter. I was in Liverpool today. There might be a stadium tour coming out this week. There might not. But it's very interesting that Jamie Carragher, I saw, was trending today because he said that there was a clip of him basically back in the Mourinho nightmare where he went, there's a lot of people, I'm not going to do with a Liverpool accent because I'm shit, but there's a lot of people out there, there's a lot of people out there, shouldn't do that, there's a lot of people out there, he was saying, that think that Mourinho or Pogba, it's one or the other, and if you remove Mourinho, you're going to get a different Paul Pogba. I'm telling you now, you're not. That's his words. I'm telling you now, you're not going to get a different Paul Pogba just because you remove Mourinho. And he was wrong. He was absolutely wrong. And Alan Brazil had a pop on TalkSport about Paul Pogba. And I think there's a big line of people personally that should be lining up to say sorry to Paul Pogba. I think the way he's perceived in the press is very, very unfair. I think that when you look at what he's been like over the last few weeks, certainly in the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer reign, he's been what everybody sort of who likes him knows he can be, i.e. me and a lot of you lot. And he's sat down a lot of those people who think he's overrated, can't be one of the best players in the world. It's all a big joke. He's just a bling player. I think the turnaround of Paul Pogba under the manager, and many of us predicted it. I remember the shows we were doing at the start of the year, and people were saying, well, what if we remove Mourinho and Pogba's still really inconsistent? And I said, I don't think that's going to happen. If it does, we move him on. But I think we will get the best out of Paul Pogba. And what we're seeing from Paul Pogba at the moment is as good as we saw at Juventus. This is as good as he's been in his career. This is. I mean, I thought Herrera, which I want to talk about at the moment, was superb last night. But Pogba won that game with the assist and the goal. He won us that game, and he actually was superb in the second half. First half, he was a bit in and out, but he still had a massive part in both goals, and that's what world class is. And a lot of United fans last night was messaging me saying, "Oh, you're being unfair on Hazard. He was one of the best players on the pitch." And I'm like, but do you not get what I'm on about here? I mean, of course, Hazard's one of the better players in the Premier League, but he's not the best. And that's Carragher again. Carragher was on about this at the start of the season. Hazard's he's the best player in the world. What the hell are you on about? Hazard had enough of the ball last night to do something. And yeah, he always looks a threat. He's a very, very good player. But threat's no good. Set up a goal or score a goal. That's the echelon we're talking about. And that's when I talk about people like Hazard and I say, I don't believe the hype. It's not that he's not a good player. It's that he doesn't do it enough for me. Whereas Pogba, over the last few games, granted, I don't think you can say Pogba's going to be player of the year because he's only started playing in late December. And that's Mourinho's fault. But if he had been under Ollie all season, I think he'd be player of the year. I think he's been that good. Absolutely stunning stuff. And I think there is a big line of people who owe him an apology. But they'll be too stubborn to do it. I mean, you could even argue Gary Neville to a certain extent. But I think Gary Neville was basically saying he wanted to see the best out of Paul Pogba. And maybe he was a bit too loyal to Mourinho. I don't know. It's everyone's opinion to themselves. But there's a lot of people who went a lot worse than that. And to say, well, we won't see a different Paul Pogba just because Mourinho's removed, I think it's bordering on being thick, to be honest. I think you're not watching United enough and you're trying to stick your nose in something that you actually don't understand. Because how can it be that 99% of Manchester United fans knew full well if we removed Mourinho from our club, lots of our players would start playing a lot better. I mean, you look at that first 5 minutes against Chelsea, the high press was ridiculously brilliant. We would have been on the halfway line with Mourinho, pulling our pants out of our arse because we've been wedged by Hazard as he runs around, taking the piss. So I thought it was obvious that we were probably going to see a return to form from Pogba, and it's been absolutely superb. And I can't wait for Sunday. I cannot wait for Sunday because I think even if Martial and Lingard aren't back fit, which I think they will be, we've got that midfield three that can really be combative. And I tell you what as well, let's build up the passion a little bit here, because Ander Herrera is basically, hello, I'm not Mark Goldbridge for a moment, I'm Mr. Barcelona, or I'm Mr. Juventus, I'm Mr. PSG, I'm Mr. Valencia, I'm Mr. European decent football team. Hey, this is an imaginary phone. Hello, is that Ander Herrera? And it's today, now, it's 7:15. Hello, Ander. Do you want to come and play for my club? I'm going to be Barcelona this time. Do you want to come and play for Barcelona? I'm going to pay you £15 million to come and play for Barcelona. I'll see you in June. Have a great holiday. Bye. Ander Herrera goes into Ed Woodward. I'm off in June. Oh, don't. I'll give you what you want now. Up yours. I'm off. You can't. I can. I'm out of contract in the summer. And the law says in January I can speak to anybody I bloody well like from January the 1st. Oh, yeah. And that is the problem with Ander Herrera. I cannot believe that we have allowed that situation to develop where basically Ander Herrera can get on the phone or be phoned up by anybody right now outside of the Premier League and agree to join them in the summer. Basically what Aaron Ramsey's done with Juventus. How can this be? He is... I'm not going to do something that I'm not 100% sure about and say he's the best midfielder in Europe at the moment, because I don't know everybody's form in Europe. But he is without question one of the best midfielders in European football at the moment. And quite simply, haters sit down, because I wouldn't say that about anybody. And you could say Pogba probably is as well. But his performances, an average score is 6 out of 10. If somebody's pulling in 8 out of 10 every game, I'm very, very happy with them. Herrera's pulling in 9s and 10s out of 10, week in, week out. He is absolutely superb. And I think he's 29, I think he's coming up for 30, but the way he plays the game, he'll be doing that till he's 32. Why have we not given him the contract? It can only be because Woodward's playing hardball. Oh, I don't want to give you 3 years, I want to give you 2. Calculator says, no, man. Well, give him the 3 years. He's more than worth it. And I tell you what, throw in a captain's armband, rip it off Ashley Young's arm and give it. And if the arm comes off, sod it. But just give it to Ander Herrera with the contract that he wants. He is not a greedy player. He is not one of those sort of players. He gets what Manchester United's all about. Give him what he bloody deserves, because I tell you what, to replace what he is to United at the moment is something we don't want to be replacing in the summer. He is not a position that we need to be looking at. We need another centre-back. We maybe need a full-back on the right-hand side. We certainly need a right-sided midfielder. We might need another striker because I think Lukaku's going to go. We need another midfielder to back up Matic with a bit of energy. We don't need to be replacing Herrera's position, and that is a very, very dangerous scenario. Harold Holst Sperensvoid says, first time 1984 that Manchester United beat Tottenham, Chelsea and Arsenal. So we never did it. We never did it with under Sir Alex Ferguson. It's absolutely brilliant. Absolutely superb. Just a very quick word on the game at the weekend as well. And I think Liverpool fans would be sympathetic to this as well. Michael Oliver is the referee. This concerns me. I mean, I'm not going to give you spoilers because I've been in Liverpool today with Redmen TV. Did a preview with them for our channel, which will go up on Thursday. Did a preview for theirs, which will go up on Friday. And I did say, I don't think, I mean, a little bit of a spoiler, I can't see how that game's going to be a draw, because Ole Gunnar Solskjaer doesn't play for draws and Liverpool won't play for a draw. I think the draw is the most unlikely result. Doesn't mean it can't happen, but I think it's the most unlikely result. I think somebody's going to win that game, which makes it even more exciting. But Michael Oliver is the referee. I don't rate Michael Oliver. I think he's what's his name, Clattenburg's foster son. I really do. He's a referee that likes to make it all about himself, and he's got such a smug, whiny face when he just stands by his decision. And you've got a chance here, Michael Oliver. Redeem yourself. Let the game go like you'd let a derby go. Don't be giving, even if there are a few rough tackles in the first 10 minutes. Let the game go. Unless it's a red card tackle. If it's a yellow card in the first 10 minutes, let it go. For the benefit of the game, let it go. Do not start giving out early yellow cards, because I don't want this game being solved by red cards unless you're giving them to Liverpool players. And of course, I'm not going to concede I don't want Liverpool to be victims of it, but I certainly don't want us to be victims of it. So I just hope that this referee doesn't do what I fear he might do. Wilf Uchagugu says, hopefully Ander's signed and they don't want to announce it yet. Double fingers crossed. I do think Ander Herrera is going to sign the contract, but I still don't think it takes away from the point as to why we're allowing players of that quality to be in a situation where their contract is running down. I think it's really, really stupid, to be honest with you, for such an important player. I'm live at 7 o'clock tonight for a reason. It's Liverpool against Bayern Munich tonight. I want to watch it anyway because it's a big game, but I really want to watch it because it's a bit of a let's see what they're all about for the game on Sunday. You can join me doing a watch-along for that on Mark Goldbridge, That's Football. I'll be live at about 7:45. So That's Football, Mark Goldbridge, 7:45 tonight. Liverpool versus Bayern. If you're going to watch it, do it as a watch along with me. Herrera loves the club, says George Kyle. A massively, massively important player for Manchester United, and I really, really do like him. Anyway, we've got loads and loads to discuss. I want to sort of pose a question here about Target's best 11, and Lukaku, I suppose, comes into that. But an interesting thing I was reading today, Manchester Evening News, so maybe take it with a pinch of salt, but sometimes they're good. And they were saying that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer knows 10 of his best 11. He knows 10 of his best 11, and he probably knows his best 11 now. Basically, De Gea, Young, Lindelof, Shaw, Herrera, Matic, Pogba, Lingard, Martial, Rashford. They're 10 spots that are nailed down under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, which is some achievement considering we didn't even know half of Mourinho's team and he'd been here 2.5 months. And Ollie's not even been here 2 months and we know 10 of his best 11. But what they're saying is they think after Smalling's performance last night, he probably knows his best 11. Which is probably going to wind a lot of people up because I think they would prefer Eric Bailly. I think Eric Bailly might leave United in the summer and will bring in an expensive centre-back. I've just got a funny feeling Eric Bailly is going to leave United. I'm not too sure that he is well fancied by the coaching staff. I just have this funny feeling. It's only a feeling. I'm not saying it's going to happen. And what I'm about to say now will not please some people, certainly George Kyle, the moderator. I know he's not a big fan of Smalling. But to be honest with you, if it's Smalling and it's Lindelof as our centre-backs, that's better than Jones and Lindelof to me. So Smalling gives us something. He's good in the air. I mean, the only thing I would say about Chris Smalling is with us playing Liverpool at the weekend, I don't think Michael Oliver will have been stupid enough not to see him rip that shirt of a Chelsea player, and it should have been a penalty. Chris Smalling's been doing that since he came out I nearly said something rude there. But he's been doing it all his career. And he doesn't seem to learn from the fact that you're well over 6 foot, Chris. You should be beating everybody in the air. You don't need to be ripping their shirt off in the penalty box. And eventually a penalty will be given. And it could happen in a game massive like on Sunday. He needs to stop doing that. And he doesn't seem to be able to learn. But apart from that, I think Chris Smalling, as I've said before, is... I'd still play Bailly and Lindelof, I've got to be honest with you. But I think that Smalling is... If you look around the Premier League and you need a centre-back on the bench as your third choice, he is probably the best in the league. I think he does a good job. So I'm not massively bothered if Ollie goes with Smalling ahead of Bailly. I would go with Bailly, but at least it's not Phil Jones, who, if anybody knows whether Phil Jones is injured or not, please do let us know, because I want to ridicule the fact that we've given him another massive contract and he's out injured. Please do drop a like on the video as well. So that's looking like Manchester United's best 11. I mean, what a great development we saw last night. No Martial and Lingard, and we changed formation. Instead of it being the sort of 4-3-3, it became sort of a 4-3-1-2, with Lukaku and Rashford splitting and Mata just sitting in that number 10 position around Jorginho and hampering Sarri ball. It worked really well. I still don't actually agree with a lot of people what they say. I mean, Football India says, should we use 4-4-2 more often? That suits us. I don't think it was a 4-4-2 yesterday. I mean, you could call it a 4-4-2, but it's not. When I think of a 4-4-2, it's something that doesn't really exist anymore. It's a flat back four, it's a flat midfield four, and it's 2 up front. I suppose you could say in some ways that was a 4-4-2, but it was more of a, if anything, it was a diamond 4 with 2 wide attackers, because Rashford and Lukaku were tracking back. Well, Rashford was. I thought Mata played well yesterday, but I still think it was abundantly clear that he's pretty much finished in the Premier League. He's just not got the legs anymore. He's lost a yard of pace, and that's a big problem. But it worked yesterday in circumstances where we needed it to work. And I think the big plus was that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer changed our tactics to get the best out of his reserve attackers, because he didn't have Martial and Lingard, and it was really exciting. And I think that Pradnia says, did you watch the clip of Ander and Sanchez where Herrera went up to Sanchez after the game and gave him some encouragement? Herrera should be the captain. I think he's absolutely leader material on the pitch and how he conducts himself. I'd give him the captaincy. I don't think Ashley Young's a captain. I don't get why Ashley Young, whether you like Ashley Young or not, he's not a captain. He's got no leadership skills at all. But I would give it to Herrera, yeah. Look, a few people said to me today, why did you get on at Lukaku so much? And to be honest, I think I was quite tame compared to some of the fan cams I saw and some of the stuff on social media. But what was annoying me about Lukaku, let me just give you the headline. I think Lukaku's gone. Gone in the summer. And gone because United don't want him anymore, but gone because he wants to be gone as well. I think Lukaku is not a stupid guy. I mean, his football might come across as a bit limited because he doesn't seem to have much of a understanding of holding the ball up and just keeping the ball and playing a simple pass or an inability to do it. But I don't think he's a stupid guy off the pitch. And I think Lukaku will know that he's going to struggle in this formation. And everyone says, sell Lukaku, get rid of him, he's not good enough, that's fine. But put yourself in Lukaku's boots, his Timberland boots, for a moment and say, would you want to stay at United if you're Lukaku? Because it must be hard work for him. It must be hard, unenjoyable work for him, because you look at how quick United are in the final third, and there's this misconception that Lukaku's a quick player, and he's not. I mean, you look at that second goal last night, Pogba picks the pass out to Rashford, Pogba gets on the end of the cross. Lukaku's a few metres in front of Pogba when Pogba starts running, and when Pogba's in the box, he's a few metres ahead of Lukaku. I mean, that's a lot of distance made up, and some people felt that Lukaku was jogging into the box, whereas Pogba was sprinting. I don't know, let's give him the benefit of the doubt. Let's say he was trying to get in the box. He's certainly not quick enough for us in the final third. He's not quick enough for us in relation to how quick our footballing brains are in the final third, and he actually isn't physically quick enough as well. So if you're Romelu Lukaku, I look at when he was good at Everton. Yes, he was less bulkier, so he was a little bit quicker. But at Everton, he was about spinning into the space and using that power and getting into space. You're not going to do that for Manchester United. Teams don't let United spin into space. So he's lost a big part of his game. He's not good at build-up play. He's not an intelligent footballer. And if you're Romelu Lukaku, he's probably going to want to leave himself because it just doesn't suit him. I think United will want to move him on as well, but I think he will want to move. So I think Lukaku is gone in the summer. But that doesn't mean that over the next 3 months, Lukaku can't put a shift in, and it doesn't mean us as a fan base can't support him and hope that he does well. The problem with last night was I was getting very irritated in the second half, and I don't know about you lot. I've played football at a decent level. All right, not for a long time, and I'm not talking like semi-pro. I'm talking like when I was 15, 16, 17, I played at quite a good standard. And I used to play sometimes as a CDM, sometimes as a centre-back. And I've played in games against good teams where you get in front, maybe away from home, you're in the second half, you're 1 or 2-0 up, you're under pressure, you're defending really well, and all you want to do is get the ball into the channel, get one of your forwards on the ball, get them to hold it up, give you a breather, organise yourself, and they just hold the ball up. And you keep, even if it's just for a minute, just keep the ball at the other end for a minute or two, and let us get a breather and get composure, right? Last night, Lukaku was giving the ball back within seconds. We clear it, and he's giving it back within seconds. And that, I felt so sorry for our midfield and our defence. They did a brilliant job, but they didn't get any rest until Sanchez came on, and he did it. He understood what his role is. I'm going to be tenacious, I'm going to get the ball, I'm going to run it down, I'm going to hassle Chelsea, and their passing went off a bit, and it gave our defence a little bit of a breather. But look, Lukaku, I don't expect you to hold on to the ball and skip past 4 or 5 players, but I do expect you to at least fight and hold the ball up, win a free kick, muscle it, hold the ball up, find the simple pass. And he just wasn't doing it yesterday, and it was infuriating. It really, really was. And I just think that Lukaku needs to just look at himself and think, look, maybe you are going in the summer, but there's better players than you that have left United, and there's worse players than you that have left United. It's not about any hate campaign. I've gone a bit Spanish. It's not about any hate campaign. Just put a bit of graft in. As for Sanchez yesterday, I would have been very worried if he'd started the game, but I think for that last 20 minutes he came on and he got what his job was about. And I think that's why Ander Herrera went up to him. So fair play to him. I thought Lukaku had another bad game for us. But I would have applauded Lukaku. I would have given him an 8 out of 10 last night if he'd held the ball up, which is a very simple thing. Patrick Anderson says Lukaku looks exhausted after a few minutes. He is carrying too much bulk. I don't know what the answer is to that. I don't know why he is. Apparently 2 months ago he was going to get rid of it, but I don't know what's going on with that. I don't know whether it is why it's going like that. De Ligt would be a very good signing, says Asim Tufif. Lukaku is lucky to play for Manchester United. He didn't take the best use of his chances given. He should have won the game. He should have put the game out of sight in the second half. Brilliant run from Rashford. Cross comes in and he stands waiting for the cross. You've got to move into it. But I don't want it to turn. I don't want players to be witch hunted out of this club. We had that with Fellaini. It needed to happen. I think Lukaku's gone in the summer. I think we get behind him and just hope that he can produce something. But you can't lie. When he puts in a performance last night, it just wasn't good enough. But he's not a first teamer, is he? I mean, for me, that's where the satisfaction is. He's clearly not a first teamer, and that for me that's more than enough. If he can come on and contribute and give people a rest, great. But he's not a first teamer, and that's the main thing, and that's the most important thing. I mean, when you look at United's targets for the season, I mean, and I know this is always going to be a changing thing, and it was interesting listening to Flex last night because he was saying, I didn't think we were going to win. I did. I don't walk around Stamford Bridge taking the piss out of Hazard and their leisure centre ground and then think we're going to lose. I thought we were going to win last night. I think I said 2-1, so I didn't quite get it right. But I thought we were going to win. A lot of people were a little bit worried because of our record at Stamford Bridge and the fact that Chelsea were looking to bounce back and we had a couple of injuries. We deserved to win. We played very, very well. But what are our targets for the season now? Actually, I mean, Kylan Orr says bulk is extremely more difficult to lose than fat. I don't know. I'm not bulky. I'm not fat. I'm just a lean, mean, bantering machine. But if I was honest, and I haven't moved away from here much, to be honest. All I wanted from this season under Ollie when he came in was just to enjoy football again. He's not only times that by 10, but he's actually made us relevant and competitive and within the shout of doing some damage. Actually coming away with some silverware. We have got a very good chance of winning the FA Cup now. We're going to have to beat Man City, and they will be favourites because they're a better team than us at the moment, but we're probably going to have to beat them. I think we'll beat Wolves. That's not arrogance. I think we will beat Wolves. I've seen Wolves people gobbing off. We've been to Chelsea and Arsenal. I ain't scared of bloody Wolves. So if we play well, we'll beat Wolves. We'll get to the final. The final's going to be Man City, either in the semi-final or the final. And if we beat them, we win a trophy. So That is exceeding expectations. We've done it the hard way as well, which a lot of people are saying, it is the 20th anniversary of 99. Are we going to win an FA Cup in a similar sort of way? So yeah, I think we can win the FA Cup. We've certainly got a great shout. I'm not going to take anything for granted because that was the mistake last year. I think we all thought we were going to beat Chelsea in the final. Then Phil Jones happened. But we have got a very, very good chance. But you know what? I still say the FA Cup, I think we're going to go out of the Champions League because I think it's going to be too hard. I was talking to Drawty today and he said, I wouldn't be so sure about the Champions League. I still think we can beat PSG. I still think we can beat PSG. Look at how we played last night and we'll have Martial and Lingard back. I said, yeah, but you haven't seen United without Pogba. I mean, that's the problem. Can we perform well without Pogba? If we can do that, then maybe we've got a chance. But I'm assuming we're going out of the Champions League. I will be hopeful, and I hope we can give a good account of ourselves over there, but I think we're going out of that, which leaves the league in the FA Cup. Well, the FA Cup, realistically, it's 3 games now to the final, so that's fine. One of which is the end of the season, so it's basically 2 games. You're out the Champions League, so you're not. That's probably another 2 games that you don't have to play. And the league games, you're always going to have to play those. So I'm very happy with where we are. Targets for me would be, I think 4th place in an FA Cup would be an amazing season. An amazing season. An absolutely amazing season. Part of me thinks Solskjaer should win Manager of the Year for that. To come in where we were and to win 4th place cup and the FA Cup would be great. Of course, as United fans, there is an element of an embarrassment because we want to be better than that. But from where we were, it's like winning the lottery. So I think they're the targets we're looking at. I still want to keep reminding people that actually those targets are massively exceeding anything Ollie should have been expected of him. We should not have expected Ollie to get 4th place and we should not have expected him to win an FA Cup. Not what he took over, and it's just another bit of evidence of what a great job he is doing. Because personally, if you're asking me when Ollie took over in December, what's realistic, I would have said we ain't getting top 4, maybe a decent cup run, but I don't think we're good enough to win that either. Now I'm saying 4th place we can do, FA Cup we can do. That is an amazing thing to do. Wolf says that Lukaku's extra timbers like our deadwood, it refused to leave. 3-1 win away to PSG is a very hard task without Pogba. Not impossible, but very, very hard, says Alex Booth. I think the odds are against us, but we'll definitely go there and give it a go. And Mark, I've read we're in talks with Juventus over a swap deal for Lukaku with Dybala coming our way. Apparently we're doing the same process with Icardi at Inter. What are your thoughts on this, says Oliver Muesli? I'm not 100% that Dybala would fit into Manchester United that well, although if you stuck him in that position that Mata played last night, it would work very, very well with Pogba to the side of him, Herrera and then Matic. That formation last night with Dybala in it would be good. The 4-3-3, when we can do that, and we've got a good couple of formations now, and I think we'll see more under Ollie as well. Dybala would be a good signing, but I do like Icardi, but then what does that mean for Rashford? I mean, these are the interesting things we're going to be talking about in the summer, really, really much so. I do want to sort of talk about Sarri very quickly. I know that we can use Lukaku if we don't get Koulibaly, says Praveen Thomas. He's a centre-back. He was Chelsea's best centre-back last night. Very, very effective at stopping United attack. But I want to talk about Sarri for a moment because I think this is relevant to Solskjaer, right? If you want Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as your manager at Manchester United, I think the most important thing is patience. I don't think we're going to win the league next year. If we do, and he exceeds expectations like he has done this year, great. But I think if you were going, I want Ole, please don't have it in your mind that means next year we're going to win the league. We're a long way off being a league-winning side. And I think that would be the same if Pochettino came in, the same if Zidane comes in. We should not be doing the mistake that we did with Mourinho. Oh, let's expect to win the league. We're a long way off from that. We're working our way back from that. And I think if you want Solskjaer to be your manager, he will make mistakes. He will be learning on the job. And we must be patient as a fan base. And I think that's really important because I know we turned against Mourinho and we turned against Van Gaal, but look at how long we gave them. They had over 2 seasons, both of them, didn't they? Certainly by the end. And we've got to be patient. We've got to be patient this time. That's why it's about appointing the right man, but maybe the right man who needs to develop and grow in the job as well. That's why, for me, Solskjaer's the job. And patience is very important. And when I look at Chelsea fans today, not all of them, a lot of them are against it, a lot of them are for it. But Chelsea fans saying it's time for Sarri to go. the mainstream media in UK saying Chelsea are very close to sacking Sarri. I mean, this is Arsenal. This is Chelsea. This is the flip-flop football community that has developed over the last few years, which is absolutely disgusting. And I've got no love for Chelsea. I don't give a shit what happens to Chelsea, to be honest with you. But how can you sack a manager after 6 months who takes over a mess, who doesn't get that much money to spend, who isn't really in control of transfers, and they spend £70 million on a goalkeeper who's not even the finished article, which could have been spent in more important positions, and they could have got a goalkeeper in for 30 million. Not had all the resources, taken over a mess, started off very well. Now, there's been a bit of a dip as he has to readjust to the Premier League. They're still in the Europa League. They're still in the fight for top 4. Like us, they're nowhere near as good as Spurs, Liverpool and City anyway. So 4th is going to be your ceiling while you build, and patience is the key. And you got Chelsea fans trying to get rid of him. That's Chelsea's problem. I think it's a joke, but actually it's our problem if we do give Ollie the job, because I think we need to be patient. We might have a dip under Ollie at some point, maybe at the start of next season, maybe in the next few weeks, maybe not for another year. I think there will be a dip under Ollie because nothing ever lasts forever. You've got to go through a bit of a bad experience to learn as a coach. I don't want us to be in that position where as a fan base we start thinking maybe he's not the right person. Patience has got to come back into our vocabulary. We were patient with Mourinho, we gave him 2.5 years. We were patient with Van Gaal, we gave him 2 years. Moyes never should have got the job anyway, so we were patient for 7 months. But we don't want to become that as a fan base. We don't want to become that. I think it's very, very embarrassing. Would Arsenal do it with Emery if he lost 3 games in a row? First season in charge. It's very embarrassing, and we don't want to be that club. So that's why I mentioned that. Their goalkeeper is young, I agree with that. Anyway, I've got to go and do this watch along on That's Football. If you want to join me for Liverpool versus Bayern Munich on the That's Football channel, I'm going to be live there in about 10 minutes time. Get over there, join me for that. Please do smash a like on the video, everyone. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Get your comments in below if you've not been watching live. What are you thinking? Is this the final test for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer on Sunday? If he wins it, as I said, run on the pitch with the contract and get him to sign it. 3 years contract, ding, bing, bang, bong. Absolutely. I think it's that important. And Pogba haters, get your apology letters in because it's time. It's time to accept it. Thanks everyone for watching. We'll be back tomorrow with more content for you. Loads and loads planned this week as we build up to, I think this is the game of the season, Liverpool-Manchester United. I've never known so much riding on it for a long, long time. For Liverpool, beat us and they've got a hand on the title. For United, beat them, we remove the hand off the title and we take a firm grip on 4th place. Absolutely massive game. I'm not going to downplay it. We are building it up. Stick with United stand this week all the way through. Thanks for watching.